In the tapestry of American history, the story of Irish Americans weaves a compelling narrative of resilience and fortitude. Rooted in the historic struggles of Ireland, the sins of British rule, and the waves of Irish immigration to the United States, this community's journey is a testament to endurance and cultural tenacity. To understand the Irish American experience, one must delve into the tumultuous history of Ireland itself. Over centuries, the Emerald Isle bore witness to the injustices of British rule, a chapter marked by oppression and strife. The consequences of colonial domination left an indelible mark on the Irish psyche, setting the stage for a diaspora that would reshape the course of history. The narrative of Ireland's turbulent past unfolds against the backdrop of British rule, a chapter laden with historical complexities and persistent struggles for autonomy. From the early Norman invasions in the 12th century to the Tudor conquests of the 16th century, Ireland found itself subject to external dominion. The imposition of English laws and the seizure of Irish lands sparked tensions that would reverberate for centuries. The plantations in Ireland during the 16th and 17th centuries marked a significant and tumultuous period in Irish history, leaving a lasting impact on the land and its people. These plantations were a part of the Tudor and Stuart monarchs' efforts to establish control over Ireland, particularly in the wake of rebellions and resistance to English authority. Plantations involved the confiscation of large tracts of Irish land, predominantly owned by Catholic landowners, and their redistribution to English and Protestant settlers. The confiscated lands were often granted to loyal English subjects, military officers, or nobility, leading to a significant displacement of the native Irish population. This process was not only a means of consolidating English power but also an attempt to Anglicize Ireland culturally and politically. For the vast majority of the Irish during this time, life under the plantation system was marked by profound hardship and disenfranchisement. The displacement of native landowners meant that many Irish families lost their ancestral homes and were relegated to smaller plots or forced into tenancy on lands they once owned. The imposition of discriminatory laws and restrictions, known as the penal laws, targeted Catholics, further marginalizing the majority of the Irish population. Life for the common Irish person during this period was characterized by economic hardship, social inequality, and a loss of cultural autonomy. The penal laws prohibited Catholics from owning land, holding public office, practicing their religion openly, or receiving an education. This system of systemic discrimination created an environment in which the majority of the Irish population faced severe economic and social challenges, contributing to a cycle of poverty and disenfranchisement. As the plantations unfolded, the displacement and disenfranchisement of the Irish people fueled a sense of resistance and determination to preserve their cultural identity. The scars of this historical period would linger, shaping the Irish psyche and influencing the later struggles for independence and self-determination that define the nation's path in the centuries to come. As British rule tightened its grip, the penal laws of the 17th and 18th centuries further marginalized the Catholic majority in Ireland. Discrimination became institutionalized, with restrictions on land ownership, education, and political participation. The penal laws aimed at suppressing Irish culture, language, and religious practices, creating an environment of oppression that would leave an enduring imprint on the Irish collective memory. The 19th century witnessed the desperate struggle for Irish independence, a battle fought with both pens and swords. Visionaries like Daniel O'Connell championed the cause of Catholic emancipation and parliamentary reform, setting the stage for a fervent desire for self-determination. However, despite political efforts, Ireland continued to grapple with economic inequality and social injustice. The scars of British rule and the Great Famine left an indelible mark on the Irish collective consciousness, shaping a narrative of resilience and resistance that would echo through generations. The struggles for independence and self-determination laid the foundation for a diaspora that would carry the spirit of Ireland across oceans to the shores of America. As we delve deeper into the Irish-American experience, we begin to understand the profound impact of these historical challenges on a community that forged its identity in the crucible of adversity. The Great Famine of the mid-19th century emerged as a tragic turning point, exacerbating the plight of the Irish people. A devastating potato blight led to widespread crop failures, causing mass starvation and disease. While the famine's natural origins were beyond human control, the response of the British government exacerbated the suffering. Rather than providing sufficient aid, They implemented policies that worsened the crisis, including exporting food from Ireland even as its people starved. We'll discuss the Great Famine in more detail in our next chapter before we get into the different waves of immigration to America. In the heart of the 19th century, a silent specter began to creep across the rolling green fields of Ireland, heralding a tragedy that would carve a wound deep into the Irish soul. The Great Famine, known in Irish as an Gorda Mór, unfolded with a merciless grip, stealing away not just livelihoods, but the very essence of life itself. It all began in 1845 when an ominous blight, a microscopic assailant, descended upon Ireland's potato fields. This humble tuber, a staple of the Irish diet, was not just sustenance, it was survival. The potato blight, caused by the fungus Phytophthora infestans, manifested in insidious black spots that spread like a consuming darkness, rendering the crops inedible. With a speed that belied the gravity of the situation, the blight swept through the land, leaving devastation in its wake. Life for the Irish was intertwined with the potato, it was the bedrock of their existence. Families depended on this humble root for nourishment, and the potato fields were not just a source of food but also a lifeline for tenant farmers who toiled on the lands owned by distant landlords. The Irish population had become heavily reliant on the potato, a crop that yielded abundantly and sustained families in a precarious balance. As the blight advanced, a once thriving agricultural landscape turned into a desolate tableau of decay. The lush green fields transformed into a graveyard of blackened, rotting potatoes. The scent of death lingered in the air, and despair settled like a heavy fog over the Irish countryside. To compound the tragedy, the response from the British Parliament deepened the anguish of the Irish people. Rather than intervening to alleviate the suffering, the British exacerbated the crisis by exporting food out of Ireland. Grain, meat, and other provisions were shipped across the Irish Sea, leaving the starving Irish masses with empty hands and hollow stomachs. It was a grotesque irony that as the Irish succumbed to famine, food produced on their own soil was shipped away to feed the appetites of others. The obligations of tenant farmers to absentee landlords added another layer of tragedy to this unfolding human catastrophe. These tenant farmers, burdened by rent payments and unable to sustain themselves, faced eviction from their homes. The stark choice between paying rent and feeding their families became a cruel dilemma, as landlords callously turned a blind eye to the suffering unfolding on their estates. The Great Famine reached its zenith in the late 1840s, unleashing a cascade of death and emigration. The blight, having wrought havoc on the potato crops for several years, finally receded by the early 1850s. However, the scars it left on the Irish psyche endured, as did the haunting memories of a land that had witnessed both starvation and the heart-wrenching exodus of a desperate people. In the chapters that follow, we will explore the consequences of the Great Famine, the waves of Irish immigration it sparked, and the resilience of a community that emerged from the crucible of suffering with an unwavering spirit. The echoes of the Great Famine linger, a somber reminder of a chapter in history where a nation faced the abyss and emerged, scarred but unbroken. The convergence of poverty, social inequality, British rule, and the Great Famine created a perfect storm that propelled waves of Irish people to seek refuge far from the beautiful shores of home. The interplay of these devastating factors pushed the Irish towards immigration as a desperate means of survival and the pursuit of a better life. The Irish diaspora in the wake of these hardships saw millions seeking new opportunities in various corners of the globe. The United States, Canada, Australia, and Great Britain became primary destinations for Irish immigrants, each offering unique prospects for a fresh start. The majority of Irish immigrants set sail for the United States. Irish communities flourished in cities like Boston, New York, and Chicago, contributing significantly to the fabric of American society. The journey of the Irish people to the United States is a compelling saga that began in earnest during the early 18th century. The initial wave of Irish immigrants, driven by economic hardships and seeking better opportunities, consisted largely of Protestants. However, it was the mid-19th century that witnessed a seismic surge in Irish immigration, fueled by a combination of factors, including the devastating impact of the Great Famine and the lure of the American dream. The early Irish immigrants in the 18th century were predominantly Protestant, hailing from various social classes. Many sought economic opportunities in the burgeoning American colonies, contributing to the diverse tapestry of early American society. Despite facing challenges, this initial wave laid the groundwork for a more significant Irish presence in the years to come. The Great Famine of 1845 to 1852 marked a turning point, propelling a massive influx of Irish immigrants to the shores of America. Faced with the devastating impact of the potato blight and the indifferent response of the British government, millions of Irish men, women, and children sought refuge across the Atlantic. The conditions aboard the coffin ships, so named for their harrowing transatlantic journeys, were deplorable, with overcrowded, unsanitary conditions leading to high mortality rates during the voyage. Upon reaching American shores, the Irish faced a myriad of challenges as they settled into their new lives. Discrimination and prejudice were rampant, fueled by anti-Catholic sentiment and the perception of the Irish as impoverished and uneducated. Many Irish immigrants found work in the most arduous and dangerous jobs, such as construction, mining, and factory labor. The Irish, despite facing adversity, established tight-knit communities that provided support and camaraderie in the face of hostility. Life in the United States for the Irish was characterized by a relentless determination to overcome obstacles. While early Irish immigrants faced discrimination and social challenges, they played pivotal roles in the development of American infrastructure and industry. Their strong cultural ties, exemplified by the establishment of Catholic churches and schools, helped preserve their identity and foster a sense of community amidst the hardships of assimilation. In the subsequent parts of this video, we'll explore the lasting contributions of Irish immigrants to American culture, the challenges they overcame, and the vibrant heritage they continue to celebrate in their adopted homeland. But first, let's meet Sean O'Malley. The Burton Hills of County Kerry, Ireland, young Sean O'Malley's life unfolded against a backdrop of rolling landscapes and the echoes of ancient traditions. Born into a modest farming family, Sean's early years were marked by the timeless rhythm of rural life, where daily toil was interwoven with the tales of Celtic lore passed down through generations. Life in Ireland held a deep connection to the land, where the O'Malley family tilled the soil and tended to their modest homestead. Sean's father, a resilient man with weathered hands and a heart rooted in tradition, imparted the values of hard work, community, Catholic Christianity, and a reverence for the land. Sean's childhood was filled with the laughter of family gatherings, the warmth of peat fires, and the spirited tunes of traditional Irish music. However, beneath the idyllic surface of rural life, economic challenges and the looming specter of British rule cast shadows over the O'Malley family and their community. The repercussions of historical events, including the Great Famine and the impact of British policies on Irish landowners, weighed heavily on Sean's family. Not wanting to be a burden on his family, another mouth to feed, and the limited opportunities and economic hardships caused by the British, Sean started to contemplate a path less traveled, one that led across the Atlantic to the promise of a new beginning. The decision to leave Ireland was not taken lightly. The whispers of emigration echoed through the village, and tales of newfound opportunities in the United States reached Sean's ears. The allure of a land where one could escape the shackles of economic hardship and forge a destiny of their own making resonated deeply with the young man. The vision of America, a land of possibility and hope, fueled Sean's dreams and eclipsed the uncertainty that lay ahead. In the quiet moments before departure, Sean stood on the emerald shores of his homeland, absorbing the haunting melodies of the Irish winds and the timeless tales etched into the landscape. With a heavy heart and more than a single tear in his eye, he bid farewell to the familiar hills and the embrace of family, carrying with him the dreams of a better life and the weight of generations of Irish resilience. The decision to leave Ireland was a poignant chapter in Sean O'Malley's life, a chapter that would unfold on the shores of a new world, where the echoes of Celtic heritage and the spirit of a young Irishman would find a place in the evolving narrative of the American dream. As the Irish embarked on their journey to the United States, they brought with them not only their resilient spirits but also a rich cultural heritage that would indelibly shape the American tapestry. The contributions of the Irish to America are woven into the very fabric of the nation, encompassing fields as diverse as politics, literature, labor, and the arts. In the mid-19th century, Sean O'Malley stepped off the creaking vessel that had carried him across the Atlantic, leaving behind the rolling hills and green valleys of Ireland for the bustling streets of America. Sean was one of the lucky ones, Many with nothing but a well-worn suitcase and dreams of a brighter future, Sean found himself at the threshold of a land that promised opportunities yet harbored challenges he could scarcely fathom. As Sean navigated the crowded streets of Boston, he encountered the cold gaze of signs that bore the infamous words, "Irish need not apply." Discrimination against the Irish ran deep in the veins of American society, and the Know-Nothings, an anti-immigrant and anti-Catholic political movement, cast a shadow over Sean's aspirations. With a mixture of hope and trepidation, Sean sought employment, facing closed doors and disparaging remarks simply because of his Irish heritage. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, Irish immigrants faced numerous challenges as they sought to establish themselves in the United States. Irish aid societies, such as the Ancient Order of Hibernians and the Ladies' Ancient Order of Hibernians, emerged to provide support, camaraderie, and assistance to the Irish community. These organizations played vital roles in offering financial aid, employment assistance, and a sense of community cohesion. Undeterred by the obstacles he faced, Sean found solace in the company of fellow Irish immigrants who had weathered similar storms. They gathered in the warmth of Irish aid societies, forming tight-knit communities that provided support in the face of adversity. These societies were not merely social gatherings but lifelines, offering financial assistance, job leads, and a shared camaraderie that eased the burden of discrimination, a camaraderie that exists to the present day. The fight for equality burned within Sean, a flame kindled by the injustices he and his compatriots faced daily. Inspired by the struggles of those who came before him, Sean became part of a burgeoning movement for civil, religious, and economic rights. Irish Americans, united in their quest for a fair shot at the American dream, stood at the vanguard of change. Sean witnessed the birth of Irish American political organizations that sought to dismantle discriminatory policies and challenge the status quo. The Irish, once marginalized and scorned, became a political force, pushing for equal rights and recognition. Sean found himself drawn to rallies and meetings, where impassioned speakers articulated a vision of an inclusive America that embraced all its diverse inhabitants. Through resilience and determination, Sean rose above the discriminatory barriers. He became a beacon of hope for those who followed, breaking down the Irish need not apply walls brick by brick. The fight for equality was not just about personal success for Sean, it was about rewriting the narrative for generations of Irish Americans who dared to dream beyond the limitations imposed by prejudice. As Sean carved out a place for himself in the melting pot of American society, he carried with him the echoes of a turbulent past, transforming adversity into a catalyst for change. In the crucible of discrimination, Sean and his fellow Irish Americans forged a legacy of resilience, determination, and a relentless pursuit of equality that would resonate through the corridors of time. It was in this environment that Irish Americans found their way in America. Irish Americans have been involved in various civil rights movements advocating for equality and justice. Figures like Archbishop John Ireland and Mary MacLeod Bethune worked towards a more inclusive society, emphasizing the shared struggles of diverse communities. Irish immigrants played a pivotal role in advocating for workers' rights and social reforms. Labor leaders such as Mary Harris Jones, known as Mother Jones, championed workers' rights and left an enduring legacy in the American labor movement. Irish immigrants, predominantly Catholic, played a crucial role in establishing churches and schools across the United States. These institutions not only served the spiritual needs of the Irish community but also became centers of education and cultural preservation. Some doors and occupations were closed to the early Irish Americans, but they excelled in those fields that were open to them. Irish laborers, often facing discrimination and prejudice, played integral roles in building the nation's infrastructure. From the construction of canals and railroads to working in mines, the sweat and toil of Irish immigrants contributed to the physical development of the United States. In America, Sean O'Malley embraced a new chapter marked by resilience, hard work, and a deep connection to his Irish roots. Securing a job as a laborer, Sean faced the challenges of immigrant life with a determination to build a better future for his family. Catholicism played a pivotal role in his life, providing not only spiritual solace but also a sense of community and continuity with his Irish heritage. Sean's family life blossomed when he met and married Bridget Sullivan, a fellow Irish immigrant who shared his dreams of a brighter future. Together, they navigated the complexities of starting anew in America, With Sean's unwavering work ethic laying the foundation for their household, their modest home became a haven filled with the echoes of Irish traditions, where the aroma of comforting stews and the laughter of family gatherings filled the air. As the O'Malley family grew, so did their sense of belonging in the Irish-American community. Sean and Bridget instilled in their children a strong connection to their cultural heritage, ensuring that Irish traditions, music, and Catholic values were passed down through the generations. The O'Malley household became a microcosm of the broader Irish-American experience, with the rhythms of life echoing the resilience and camaraderie forged by countless immigrant families. Sean's journey in America was one of triumph over adversity, where hard work, faith, and a commitment to family formed the pillars of his newfound life. His story reflects the indomitable spirit of Irish immigrants who, like Sean O'Malley, planted seeds of hope in the fertile soil of the American dream. Many Irish Americans rose to prominent political positions, contributing significantly to the governance of the United States. Irish Americans engaged in political activism to address issues affecting their community and to contribute to broader societal changes. Leaders like Tammany Hall's boss William M. Tweed wielded political influence, while individuals like Al Smith and Hugh Carey made significant contributions to state and national politics. Later figures like President John F. Kennedy, Speaker of the House Tip O'Neill, and President Joe Biden have left positive and indelible mark on American politics. Irish Americans have a long-standing tradition of service in law enforcement. The Irish played pivotal roles in shaping police departments across the country, particularly in cities like Boston and New York. Their dedication to public service and a strong sense of community contributed to the establishment of a lasting legacy within the police force. The Irish have also made significant contributions to firefighting. Faced with discrimination and stereotypes, Irish immigrants sought opportunities in fire departments, where they found a sense of camaraderie and purpose. The Irish played integral roles in firefighting units, earning reputations for bravery and dedication to public safety. Irish Americans demonstrated their dedication to their adopted country through military service. From the Civil War to modern conflicts, Irish Americans have served with distinction, earning medals of honor and contributing to the defense of the United States. Irish Americans have left an indelible mark on the world of sports, from legendary boxers like John L. Sullivan to iconic coaches like Knute Rockne. Their impact extends across various athletic pursuits. Irish Americans have excelled in the entertainment industry, from actors like Spencer Tracy and Maureen O'Hara to contemporary stars making their mark on screens large and small. The collective impact of Irish Americans on America's social, political, and cultural spheres is a testament to their enduring legacy. From aid societies providing a safety net for immigrants to active participation in law enforcement, firefighting, and political advocacy, the Irish community has left an indelible mark on the evolving narrative of the United States. As we delve deeper into the Irish-American journey, we will continue to explore the dynamic contributions that have helped shape the nation we know today. The Irish contributions to America transcend specific fields, embodying a spirit of resilience, creativity, and community. As we continue to explore the enduring legacy of Irish Americans, we will delve deeper into their cultural influence, celebrating the rich tapestry they have woven into the vibrant mosaic of American life. As Irish immigrants like Sean embarked on a journey across the Atlantic, they carried within the echoes of Celtic and Gaelic cultures, threads woven into the very fabric of their identity. In the bustling streets of America, these cultural elements found new life, shaping the narratives of Irish communities and leaving an indelible mark on the nation. Celtic culture refers to the diverse set of cultural traits, languages, art, and traditions associated with the Celtic peoples, who historically inhabited parts of Western Europe. The Celts were a collection of tribes with shared linguistic and artistic elements, and their culture thrived during the Iron Age. Celtic culture is characterized by a strong emphasis on oral tradition, intricate metalwork, distinct art styles, and a spiritual connection to nature. The Celts influenced regions including Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Brittany, France, and parts of the Iberian Peninsula. Gaelic culture specifically pertains to the linguistic and cultural heritage of the Gaels, a Celtic-speaking ethnic group that includes the Irish, Scots, and Manx peoples. Gaelic culture is deeply rooted in the Gaelic languages, with Irish Gaelic, Gaeilge, and Scottish Gaelic, Gaeilge. being the primary spoken languages. These languages have rich literary traditions, including epic poetry, folklore, and mythology. Gaelic culture encompasses traditional music, dance, and a strong emphasis on familial and community ties. It has historically played a significant role in shaping the identities of Ireland and Scotland. The lyrical lilt of Gaelic languages persisted in tales told around hearths, and the vibrant strains of Celtic music resonated through crowded immigrant neighborhoods. Irish dance, with its intricate footwork, became a cultural beacon, captivating audiences and infusing the rhythm of tradition into the heartbeat of the New World. Traditional Irish music and dance found a new home in America, captivating audiences with its lively jigs and reels. The music influenced genres like bluegrass and country. Riverdance, originating from Ireland and later gaining global acclaim, showcased the infectious rhythm and energy of Irish dance, influencing contemporary dance forms and contributing to the multicultural tapestry of American performing arts. The history of Irish music and dance is deeply rooted in the cultural heritage of Ireland, with traditions dating back centuries. Influenced by Celtic and Gaelic traditions, Irish music and dance have evolved through the ages, shaped by historical events, social gatherings, and the resilience of a people. Traditional Irish music has its origins in ancient Celtic music characterized by distinctive melodies and the use of instruments such as the harp, tin whistle, and fiddle. Dance, too, has ancient roots, with evidence of ritualistic dances dating back to pre-Christian times. Over the centuries, Irish music and dance served as a form of cultural expression and resistance during times of adversity, including periods of British rule and the Great Famine. It provided a means for the Irish people to connect with their heritage, fostering a sense of identity and community. The global popularity of Irish music and dance has created connections and bridges between cultures and also acts as a bridge for the diaspora community and a connection back to the Emerald Isle. Festivals, workshops, and performances around the world provide opportunities for people of different backgrounds to come together, fostering cross-cultural understanding and appreciation. Artistic expressions adorned with Celtic knotwork and designs became emblems of heritage, worn proudly by generations as symbols of resilience and continuity. St. Patrick's Day, once a religious observance, transformed into a celebration of Irish identity, blending Gaelic traditions with the exuberance of Irish American communities. But we'll discuss St. Patrick's Day more in our next chapter. In the mosaic of American diversity, the impact of Celtic and Gaelic cultures endures, weaving its way into the social fabric of Irish Americans. From the jigs and reels that echo through cultural celebrations to the preservation of language and the forging of community bonds, the legacy of Celtic and Gaelic cultures thrives, a testament to the enduring spirit of those who crossed oceans to build a new home while holding tight to the threads of their rich heritage. In this chapter, we'll do a deep dive on the cultural contributions of Irish Americans. Irish Americans have left an indelible mark on the social and cultural fabric of the United States, extending beyond the celebratory fervor of St. Patrick's Day. Their contributions have enriched American culture in various ways, from the preservation of folklore to influencing the observance of Halloween and other noteworthy traditions. Irish Americans played a crucial role in preserving and sharing Ireland's rich folklore and mythology. Through storytelling, music, and dance, they kept alive the tales of banshees, leprechauns, and mythical heroes, captivating audiences and passing down a cultural legacy to subsequent generations. The roots of Halloween trace back to Celtic traditions, particularly the ancient festival of Samhain. Irish immigrants brought their customs to America, and over time these traditions merged with other cultural practices, giving rise to the modern celebration of Halloween. Elements like jack-o'-lanterns, costumes, and the idea of spirits wandering between worlds all have ties to Irish folklore. Check out my video on masking Halloween. Halloween is an American cultural icon for a fun deep dive into the holiday. Irish Americans have made significant contributions to American literature, infusing it with a unique blend of Irish sensibilities and American experiences. Writers such as Frank McCourt, J.P. Donlevy, and Alice McDermott have explored the immigrant experience, offering poignant perspectives on identity, belonging, and the interweaving of cultures. Figures like Nellie Bly and Joseph Pulitzer made indelible contributions, shaping the landscape of American journalism and influencing public discourse. The concept of Irish pubs, characterized by warm atmospheres and hearty fare, has become a staple in American communities. Irish immigrants brought with them a love for convivial gatherings, good conversation, and, of course, a well-poured pint of Guinness. This pub culture has become an integral part of American social life. Guinness, the iconic Irish stout, holds a revered place in Irish American culture, its rich history and distinct flavor intertwining with the narratives of Irish immigrants in the United States. Established by Arthur Guinness in 1759 at St. James's Gate Brewery in Dublin, Ireland, the beverage has become synonymous with Irish conviviality and camaraderie. Guinness, with its dark, velvety pour and creamy head, is a symbol of the Irish pub experience, and its popularity transcends borders. Guinness made its way to America alongside the influx of Irish immigrants in the 19th and 20th centuries. In the wake of the Great Famine and economic hardships, Irish immigrants brought with them not only their hopes for a better life but also the cultural touchstones of home. Guinness, a taste of Ireland in a pint, became a cherished link to the old country. The history of the Guinness family, however, reflects a complex intersection of Irish brewing and the Anglo-Irish Protestant elite. The Guinness Brewery was founded by Arthur Guinness, a member of the Protestant community in Ireland. Over the years, the Guinness family became prominent figures in Dublin society, known for their philanthropy and contributions to the city's cultural and economic landscape. Despite their Protestant background, the Guinness family played a pivotal role in shaping Ireland's brewing heritage and became intertwined with the broader narrative of Irish identity. In Irish American culture, Guinness represents more than just a beverage, it embodies a shared connection to the homeland. The stout's arrival in America paralleled the journey of Irish immigrants seeking refuge and opportunity. Today, Guinness is a staple in Irish American pubs and households, a cultural touchstone that bridges the gap between the old world and the new. The legacy of Guinness in Irish American culture speaks to the enduring power of tradition and the ability of a simple pint to evoke a sense of home and heritage in the hearts of those who crossed oceans in search of a new beginning. Irish Americans played a role in popularizing Irish beverages like Guinness and Irish whiskey in the United States. These drinks have become synonymous with Irish pub culture and are enjoyed by many Americans, especially during St. Patrick's Day celebrations, and serve as another connection to our Irish homeland. The story of Irish whiskey is a rich tapestry woven through the centuries, reflecting the resilience and craftsmanship of the Irish people. With a history dating back to at least the 15th century, Irish whiskey has weathered wars, prohibitions, and economic challenges to emerge as a global symbol of quality and tradition. The art of distillation found its way to Ireland through monks returning from the Mediterranean, and by the 1600s, whiskey production was thriving. Irish whiskey became synonymous with smoothness, often triple distilled for a mellow flavor profile, distinct from its Scottish and American counterparts. The 19th and early 20th centuries brought challenges, including the devastating impact of the Irish famine and the emergence of Scotch and bourbon whiskies. Prohibition in the United States further crippled the industry. However, Irish whiskey began its renaissance in the late 20th century, with a renewed focus on quality, craftsmanship, and innovative expressions. Irish coffee, a delightful concoction of hot coffee, Irish whiskey, sugar, and topped with cream, has a more recent origin but is no less steeped in history. Legend has it that in the 1940s, a chef named Joe Sheridan created the drink to warm up American passengers disembarking from a Pan Am flying boat during a harsh winter. When asked if it was Brazilian coffee, he quipped, "No, it's Irish coffee." Irish coffee gained popularity as it transcended its airport origins. The Buena Vista Cafe in San Francisco played a crucial role in popularizing the drink in the United States, perfecting the art of creating the signature floating cream atop the coffee. The resurgence of Irish whiskey in recent decades has seen an increased appreciation for the craftsmanship and diversity within the category. From traditional pot still expressions to innovative cask finishes, Irish whiskey continues to capture the imaginations of enthusiasts worldwide. The story of Irish whiskey and Irish coffee is one of enduring traditions, revival, and global recognition. Whether sipped neat or enjoyed in a warming cup, these Irish libations carry with them the spirit of a people who have mastered the art of crafting both fine spirits and convivial moments. As Irish immigrants set sail for America, they carried with them a culinary heritage that would leave an indelible mark on the American palate. Traditional Irish fare, born from the agricultural richness of the homeland, found its way across the Atlantic. Dishes like colcannon, a comforting blend of mashed potatoes and kale or cabbage, and Irish soda bread, a simple yet hearty bread leavened with baking soda, became staples in Irish American kitchens. Corned beef and cabbage, though more of an American adaptation influenced by the Jewish deli tradition, became synonymous with Irish American cuisine, especially during St. Patrick's Day celebrations. The rich, savory flavors of Irish stews, often simmered with lamb or beef, also found resonance in the culinary landscape of the United States. These recipes, passed down through generations, formed a culinary bridge between the Old World and the New, enriching the diverse tapestry of American cuisine with the flavors of Ireland. Shepherd's pie, a savory dish traditionally made with minced lamb or mutton, mixed with vegetables, and topped with mashed potatoes, became a comforting and popular dish in the United States with Irish influences. Cottage pie, with its savory layers of minced meat and vegetables topped with creamy mashed potatoes, held a special place in Sean O'Malley's heart. A taste of Ireland on a plate, it was a dish that echoed the warmth of his homeland. Every bite carried the flavors of tradition, a comforting reminder of the familial kitchen in County Kerry. In the heart of Boston, at his local Irish pub, Sean found solace and connection. The rich aroma of cottage pie wafting through the air, he would settle into a worn wooden booth, eagerly savoring his favorite dish paired with a perfectly poured pint of Guinness. The pub became more than a place to savor hearty meals, it was a communal haven for Irish immigrants like Sean. Amidst the lively chatter and lilting tunes of Irish music, the pub served as a bridge to a shared heritage, a place where stories were exchanged, laughter echoed, and connections were forged. In those moments, the pub transformed into a microcosm of the wider Irish American immigrant community, providing Sean O'Malley not just a taste of home but a sense of belonging in a new land. The social contributions of Irish Americans have expanded the scope of American culture, infusing it with a unique blend of folklore traditions and perspectives. Beyond the surface-level celebrations, the enduring influence of Irish heritage resonates in various aspects of American life, contributing to the nation's diverse and dynamic cultural landscape. Irish American writers enriched American literature with their unique perspectives. Notable figures like Eugene O'Neill, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and Frank McCourt captivated readers with their literary works, offering insights into the Irish American experience. As promised, our next chapter discusses the religious observance, history, and modern-day revelry of St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day, observed on March 17th, holds a multifaceted significance rooted in history, lore, and Irish mythology. While the day commemorates the patron saint of Ireland, St. Patrick, its roots are intertwined with both religious observance and a celebration of Irish identity. St. Patrick, born in Britain in the late 4th century, is credited with bringing Christianity to Ireland. His legendary act of using the shamrock to explain the Holy Trinity is enshrined in Irish lore. Canonized as a saint, Patrick's feast day marks the date of his death, and became a solemn occasion in the Catholic Church, reflecting his role as a spiritual guide and evangelizer. For centuries, St. Patrick's Day remained a day of prayer, church, and solemnity. Captured by pirates as a youth, St. Patrick spent years in Ireland as a slave. According to legend, Patrick had a vision in which God told him to escape and return to Britain. After making his way home, he felt a calling to become a priest. In a subsequent dream, he saw the people of Ireland calling him back to convert them to Christianity. Ordained as a bishop, Patrick returned to Ireland as a missionary and played a crucial role in spreading Christianity. The most well-known story associated with St. Patrick is the use of the shamrock to explain the Holy Trinity, a concept that resonated with the predominantly pagan Irish population. St. Patrick's Day is a religious feast day in the Catholic Church, commemorating his contributions to Irish Christianity. St. Patrick is said to have converted many to Christianity and banished snakes from the land, a symbolic tale given that Ireland never had native snakes. Although there are 12 Irish saints, St. Patrick became the most influential patron saint of Ireland. In the United States, St. Patrick's Day has evolved beyond its religious origins to become a cultural celebration of Irish identity and heritage and a connection to the historical and cultural heritage of Ireland. While many Irish Americans maintain a connection to the religious aspects of the day, The celebration often extends to include parades, festivals, and a joyful display of Irish culture. For Irish Americans, St. Patrick remains a symbol of faith and cultural pride. The religious importance of St. Patrick endures in the hearts of those who celebrate their Irish heritage, whether through religious observance, cultural festivities, or a combination of both. St. Patrick serves as a unifying figure, bridging the religious and cultural dimensions of Irish identity for communities in both Ireland and America. In modern times, St. Patrick's Day has evolved into a global celebration of Irish culture. Parades, festivals, and the iconic green attire are synonymous with the day. The vibrant commercialism and revelry surrounding St. Patrick's Day reflect a broader embrace of Irish heritage worldwide. The celebration of St. Patrick's Day differs between Ireland and the United States. In Ireland, the day has traditionally been a religious observance with quiet ceremonies. However, the American iteration has evolved into a more exuberant spectacle, and these customs eventually found their way back to Ireland in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. St. Patrick's Day holds a special place in the hearts of Irish Americans, providing a tangible link to their roots. Beyond the festive atmosphere, the day creates a communal bond, fostering a shared sense of identity, pride, and connection to the resilience of their ancestors. For Irish Americans, St. Patrick's Day serves as an annual reaffirmation of their cultural heritage in the melting pot of American society. In the kaleidoscope of St. Patrick's Day, the blend of religious significance, historical roots, and contemporary revelry paints a vivid picture of a celebration that transcends borders, uniting people in a shared expression of Irish identity and pride. The narrative of Irish Americans is woven with threads of resilience, determination, and the ability to overcome challenges that define their journey from Ireland to the United States. Faced with adversities ranging from economic hardships and discrimination to the trials of adapting to a new land, the Irish immigrant experience is a testament to the indomitable spirit that continues to shape their legacy. Irish immigrants often arrived in America seeking refuge from the economic woes plaguing their homeland, exacerbated by issues such as the Great Famine. Struggling against poverty, many Irish Americans found strength in hard work and resourcefulness, forging pathways to success through labor-intensive jobs and entrepreneurial endeavors. Upon their arrival in the United States, Irish immigrants faced discrimination and prejudice, particularly during periods of heightened anti-immigrant sentiments. Signs proclaiming "No Irish Need Apply" greeted them as they sought employment. Yet, with unwavering determination, Irish Americans transcended these barriers, proving their worth and contributing significantly to the social and economic fabric of their new home. Preserving their cultural identity presented its own set of challenges for Irish Americans. In the face of efforts to assimilate, the Irish community clung to their language, music, dance, and religious traditions, creating a resilient cultural tapestry that persists through generations. The celebration of St. Patrick's Day and the lively expressions of Irish culture in the diaspora stand as vibrant examples of this enduring spirit. Irish Americans were not just witnesses to history but active participants in political struggles, particularly during times of unrest in Ireland. The fight for Irish independence and later, for the unification of Ireland, resonated strongly within Irish American communities, leading to involvement in political activism and advocacy that transcended geographical boundaries. Despite facing initial barriers to education and economic advancement, Irish Americans made significant strides in various fields. From laborers and police officers to influential politicians, writers, and entrepreneurs, Irish Americans have contributed immeasurably to the diverse landscape of American society. Crucial to overcoming challenges was the sense of community that Irish Americans fostered. Tight-knit neighborhoods, supportive networks, and cultural organizations provided a foundation for solidarity, offering both emotional and practical assistance during times of need. The story of Irish Americans navigating and overcoming challenges is one of resilience, tenacity, and the enduring ability to transform adversity into triumph. Their legacy stands as a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the profound impact a determined community can have on shaping the course of history. As we reflect on the journey of Irish Americans, we see a legacy built on community, cultural pride, and the unwavering commitment to preserving the essence of Irish identity as well as that for a better humanity and freedom from want and oppression in all its forms. From the crowded neighborhoods of cities like Boston and New York to the corridors of power in American politics, the Irish influence is felt across every facet of American society. In the story of Irish Americans, we find a celebration of heritage, an ode to the enduring human spirit, and a reminder that challenges, when met with resilience, can pave the way for a brighter future. The legacy of the Irish in America is one of triumph, unity, and the lasting impact of a community that, against all odds, carved out a place for itself in the great American mosaic. In the bustling cityscape of contemporary America, Sean O'Malley, were he alive today, would likely cast a discerning eye on the intricate mosaic of modern American life. The echoes of his own immigrant journey would resonate with the evolving narrative of new arrivals, their struggles, and the shifting landscapes of economic prosperity. Surveying the landscape, Sean might find himself frustrated by the diminishing middle class, a stark departure from the robust working-class ethos that shaped his own immigrant experience. The struggles of new immigrants, much like he once faced, would evoke empathy, perhaps prompting him to advocate for policies that safeguard their integration and uplift their aspirations in the pursuit of the American dream. However, Sean's concerns would extend beyond his immediate community. His spirit of solidarity, molded by the struggles of his own people, might lead him to support other marginalized groups. In the spirit of his Irish roots, Sean could find common cause with those facing oppression globally, extending his support to Black South Africans in their quest for justice and equity, as well as Palestinians navigating their own tumultuous journey of genocide and despair. If Sean O'Malley were alive today, witnessing the conflict in Ukraine, his perspective might be shaped by his own experiences of hardship, displacement, and the yearning for justice. Sean, with a heart molded by the struggles of the Irish and a commitment to solidarity, would likely empathize with the plight of the Ukrainian people facing the ravages of war. Given Sean's inclination to support marginalized and oppressed communities, he would likely advocate for increased aid to Ukraine. His experiences as an immigrant and the hardships he encountered might instill in him a deep sense of empathy for those undergoing similar challenges. Sean, drawing from his own journey, could recognize the importance of international support, both in humanitarian aid for the affected population and diplomatic efforts to bring about a peaceful resolution. Sean's stance would likely be rooted in the belief that collective action, fueled by compassion and a commitment to justice, can alleviate the suffering of those caught in the crossfire of conflict. His advocacy might extend to urging the international community, including the United States, to provide robust assistance to Ukraine, emphasizing the significance of standing in solidarity with a beleaguered nation striving for peace and stability. In the current political and social climate, Sean O'Malley might channel his passion for justice into advocating for policies that address income inequality, protect the rights of immigrants, and promote equality for all. His journey from the shores of Ireland to the heart of America would undoubtedly foster a nuanced perspective, urging him to champion the values of inclusivity and compassion that define the modern struggles and aspirations of those navigating the American experience. Thank you for watching. My channel, known as the Renaissance Spirit, is dedicated to the pursuits of a just, equitable, and humanitarian world, something that Sean O'Malley would approve wholeheartedly. Video topics encompass areas including history, politics, archaeology, religion, personal development, society, culture, social and environmental justice, and other topics of liberal arts and sciences, including ancient Rome and the Roman Empire, which is a great comparison and contrast to the modern world. Topics perfect for the true modern polymath. The Renaissance ushered in a golden age in the pursuit of knowledge both lost to time and yet to be discovered. It gave birth to the Enlightenment and the Age of Reason. Embracing truth, knowledge, and an understanding and compassion for humanity opens up the world to each of us individually and improves all of humanity, affording us the opportunity to be better stewards of the earth and to each other, following in Sean's example. The Renaissance spirit, more than just a philosophy or style, but a style for living, learning, growing, and thinking. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, and share. If you're looking to explore and experience what life has to offer, I'm sure you'll enjoy the other videos on my channel. Please peruse, and let me know in the comments what you get out of them and what other videos you'd like to see. But first, please take the quiz next to see if you're a Renaissance spirit. May you have all the happiness and luck that life can hold. And at the end of all your rainbows, may you find a pot of gold. May the roof over your head always be strong. May you be in heaven a half hour before the devil knows you're dead. May your thoughts be as glad as the shamrocks. May your heart be as light as a song. May each day bring you bright, happy hours that stay with you all the year long. May God bless and keep you, and may God spread his perpetual light on Ireland, America, and peoples the world over who fight against injustice, inhumanity, and oppression. May we all keep the lamps of freedom, justice, equality, and cultural and historical heritage trimmed and burning, like the Irish American, the Black American, the Muslim American, the Jewish American, the Asian American, the Irish, the Gazan, the Ukrainian, and whoever follows Sean these distant shores. May democracy and freedom never die, and may the light and lamps beckon them and light their path in their new homeland, America. And may those of us here already remember Sean's plight, and those of all immigrants. May we judge less and empathize more. Admonishment or mission, let us not forget the famous words of Emma Lazarus, giving voice to Lady Liberty. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these the homeless tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Thank you, Sean, for adding to the mosaic that is America. Sláinte.
In Dublin's fair city, where the girls are so pretty, I first set my eyes on sweet Molly Malone, as she wheels her wheelbarrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh.
She was a fishmonger, and sure 'twas no wonder, for so was her father and mother before, and they both wheeled their barrows through streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh.
She died of a fever, and no one could save her, and that was the end of sweet Molly Malone. But her ghost wheels her barrow down streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. 'Tis you, must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. 'Tis I'll be there in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, I love you so. I love you so. I love you so. And when you come and all the flowers are dying, if I am dead as dead I well may be, you'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me, and I shall hear, though soft, your tread above me, and all my grave shall warmer, sweeter be, for you will bend and tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to